Hello and welcome, ladies and gents, boys and girls, to What About, the series where we talk of various subjects that we can think of. Now, the first subject I want to talk to you about is one which is still in debate up to this day, and that is games, or video games to be specific. I'm sure there is a number of you watching that have been told by your parents, carers, or other people that games are a waste of time. They're not good for your health, they make you a shut-in, they make you antisocial. Well, that is not quite true. You'd be surprised. So, if you want to show them otherwise, instead of getting, frustrated, tell them they don't understand you, and just walk away, let's get them in a discussion. Before we start, those that are saying I'm just expressing my point of view, you're right. But I inform myself in support. All the sources will be at the end of this video, which you can search for and read, and then angrily argue against me in the comment section below. Now, let's get this out of the discussion first. For those of you who might argue that gaming is childish and it's not going to last, I beg to differ. Just in 2022, the gaming industry had a global income of $180 billion. Imagine that. You know what's crazier? That is probably going to exceed the 200 billion mark come 2023, which is actually this year, so it's probably way over that. Now, are you saying that games cannot be educational, that they're not good for the children? Well, not quite. It's been estimated that the educational video game market this year is worth about 17 billion, a huge increase over the 485% more than in 2018. Now, if you want some examples, we have some. Like, here you have Dragon Box, so your children can know how geometry works. Extreme Events, which is practically virtual training on how to deal with natural disasters and also encourages teamwork. We've also got Pacific, which is a game that shows you how to be a better leader and how to manage a team. You've got the nice little game Spore, which you can also get it on the Wii, which is quite good at biology, and it shows you how evolution happens. Now, if you want to be a polyglot, before you know it, we've got the Duolingo app. Now, we've also got one which is interesting, which is blood typing, or what blood is and how transfusions work. Good? Good. Now that we reduced the main arguments against games, let's talk about the benefits. Now, scientists have found that those who grew up playing games with open-ended problems have developed an alternative way of learning compared to the older generation. Like, say, instead of reading off a manual, the gamers problem solve through trial and error by collecting the necessary bits and pieces of their task and then experimenting until they get it right by just putting them back together. I guess that makes for less of this is how you make it and more of now I know how it works, because I did it. I mean, you did. Not me, Rora. You get it. Anyways. Now, your next argument might be, but games make my child lazy and teaches him how to give up and he won't be as smart as all of those other children. Not quite. It's a bit of a mixed bag. Now, I'm sure some of you have always praised your children along the lines of, oh, you are so intelligent, or you are such a smart boy. Which kind of makes them think that, intelligence is a bit of an innate trait and there's not much that you can do about it. It's just how you're born. Now, for those of you who are the opposite, and you tell your children you work so hard at that, or you did a good job at keeping at it, now, it seems that's a more logical and appropriate response, because that way children grow up to learn that intelligence is actually something that you can work at, and that is something that, you guessed it, games can also do. Now, since games give their player feedback straight away on what they did, it means that gamers know what went wrong, so they will try again finding another solution. This promotes a self-actualization system and the sense of hard work that comes with the rewards. It might actually be also a good way of dealing with the feelings of failure. That failure is not a bad thing, it's just, a step towards success. So, see, it's not that bad. Believe it or not, action video games might actually improve your brain matter. According to a 2015 study, the specific games that I mentioned can help in the neural improvements of our brain. Pro gamers need to deal with about 150 responses a minute using a keyboard and a mouse, which means that their attention and motion systems need to be in really tight connection. As such, their practice seemed to lead to a bigger volume of brain matter compared to your casual gamers. While that might apply to the pros, it doesn't mean that you won't actually reap any benefits yourself if you're not dreaming about rushing B. Now, you might be thinking, oh no! What about him being isolated playing so much? Well, for you parents or carers with that worry, here's an argument for you. If you think your children might be a shut-in or have no friends to do gaming, you might be quite wrong. According to studies, it seems that over 70% of gamers actually play their games with a friend, be it together or against each other. And now, since we are on this subject of cooperativity, here's an interesting fact. Games have actually benefited science as well. They have helped researchers to find a quick solution to the crystal structure for a monkey virus that's related to AIDS. Now, bear in mind the cell structure has been baffling scientists for about a decade, but eventually they thought about it. How about we release this to the public in some way? Maybe they can help us. Well, what they did, they put it in an online game of which models the structures of proteins, and you know, as I mentioned, it threw it there towards the public. Now, it seems that the cooperative effort of gamers and their different creative solution of each person were at the end to this unsolvable problem. Well, at least unsolvable up to that time. So, socially isolated? Not quite. Socially awkward? Debatable. Anyways, on the medicine side, a game has proven to be of help. Now, for the unfortunate children that have to deal with cancer, Remission was one of the games that helped them through their struggles. The player basically controls a little nanobot who shoots cancer cells and overcomes infections, also managing the signs of nausea and constipation. Now, it seems according to the study that the little gamers who played this game showed improved adherence to their treatment rules as well as greater knowledge of cancer, which we can only hope that actually helped them to go through this difficult time a lot better. So, as you can see, video games might have actual benefits, and they are not as bad as some of you might see. But for those worried about game time, well, according to another study, playing time might not affect the gamers in such a negative way. It's more along the lines that these games can actually be an improvement on mental health, and over-regulating games might put a dent in those benefits for players. You see? Now, don't get me wrong, that is not to say that people should be gaming non-stop 24/7. Right? That we find ourselves at the end of this video. Those of you that are watching and are really against them, I hope I gave you enough food for thought regarding their benefits. Okay? Now, before I go, do let me say this. Video games are great. They are filled with amazing stories, incredible mechanics, and they are just good entertainment. But like all things in life, they should be taken in moderation. Now, relax, enjoy them, let children enjoy them. But let's not let them take over our life. Balance is key. Read a book, go out, hang with your gamer friends outside as well. Do some exercise. Okay, it's really important that everything is in moderation in order to live a great life. As I was saying, I hope you enjoyed this video and I personally look forward to see you in the next one. If you have any subjects that you'd like us to talk about, let me know in the comments below and I'll make sure to do some research. And as previously mentioned, all of the sources that I used for this video are just gonna come in the following screen. And I hope everybody has a nice day.